all need it.
Okay, so here we are recording Monday morning, whatever Monday this is. I have no idea what the date is. All I know is next week's the last week of January, and that is crazy. So anyway, back to our immunity. The most important thing to think about and to consider as the easiest thing is breathing. Make sure you're practicing on a regular basis the 3-part breath. And the 3-part breath is just a little bit more of an advanced lower belly breathing practice. So we begin with just, feeling that breath dropping through the diaphragm and entering the lower part of the belly where it expands. And that's able to fill up that lung space and fill up and bringing in that fresh, clean air, oxygen, and as you're releasing, you're emptying from the top down to the bottom. And so the idea is that with that exhale, the diaphragm is being drawn up and in from the contraction of the belly, because the diaphragm actually relaxes on the exhale. Okay, so it drops down and is flexed. It's like the word escapes me, but like
Balloon.
A balloon, yeah. That is flexing as the breath is being drawn in. So it's pushing down into the gut area, into the intestine area. And then as we exhale, that rebounds back up. And you're drawing everything, and the muscles of your abdomen are pushing up against that diaphragm. And the more you do that, the more the diaphragm is pressing up against the lungs and releasing more and more of the waste out of the lungs. So with that in mind, the points, I'll send you again the chart after class. And we'll start with the first point. So it goes down from kidney 27 down to stomach 36, and there's only 4 points. So the first point, if you take your fingertips right at the corner of that, where the clavicle drops down into that little U, and then go lateral along that clavicle bone and then drop down. There's a little indentation. So pressing here, you can do presses, little circle rotations, hold. And if you were to do the hold, you would inhale and push on that spot. Exhale as you release. Not release, but just kind of lighten. Inhale, push. Exhale, release. Inhale, press. Exhale, release. So you can use your knuckle, your thumb, your first finger or middle finger. So that's one way of doing it. You could do little circles, and you would exhale everything out and circle in one direction to inhale. And exhale the direction. Use a 3-part breath to inhale, lower, middle, upper. Then exhale, upper, middle, lower. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, upper, middle. And you could just press and hold the press as well. and then release, shake that out. Okay, so that's the first point. Everything's bilateral. Okay, so what we do on the right, we do on the left. So that one's easy to do with at the same time. So now take the left arm and just make a little 90-degree angle. You could rest that on your belly. Your thumb of your left hand is going to go into, or your right hand is going to go into this point, large intestine 11. And so there's the bone and there's the little hollow part. And so your thumb is in that little hollow part and you're just pressing, circling, massaging, pulsing. And again, we can add the 3-part breath, release it all, inhale, lower, middle, upper, exhale, upper, middle, and lower. Inhale, lower, middle, upper, exhale, upper, middle, lower, lift the perineum. So you want to add in that little bit of a root lock. Inhale, lower, middle, upper, and exhale, upper, middle, lower. Good. We'll go to the other side. So same point on the right side, your left elbow, left, or whatever we're on. Okay, so find that point, exhale everything out. We have a little natural lift on that pelvic floor. Inhale, lower, middle, and upper. Exhale, upper, middle, lower, lift and lock. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, upper, middle, and lower. One more, inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, upper, middle, lower. You can release that, shake it out. So these are the same points that you can use for any breathing issues, asthma, you know, the same thing. You could also add in just tapping along the rib cage. So this would be an addition. And what this does is it also stimulates, you know, the airways. And it also stimulates these are all kidney points that run parallel to the sternum in between the rib cage. And that also helps with your adrenal system. So the adrenals are part of the kidney system, the kidney and bladder system. Adrenal sits on top of the kidneys. So this kind of stimulates that whole system, which is something we want to work with too. Okay, so first point is our kidney 27. Second point is large intestine 11. Third point is going to be on the inside lung line. So that's
You're back on a bit. Darby, I can't see that hand, your left
I know,
hand.
I'll bring it up. So the inside of your wrist here. Okay, so your lung line runs from here. There's 2 points that are vertical, one on top of the other in the just below that, in that little soft tissue. And then it runs lung 1, lung 2, and then it runs down the just to the outside of that bicep. There's 2 points here. Then there's a point at the crease of your elbow, then about halfway down. Then from this middle point of your lower arm, you're going to go about 3 inches or so to this point, which is lung 7. And you'll get pictures of this and instructions, but lung 7 is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches from the crease of your wrist. So right about there, and kind of dig it's that in between the tendons and the bone. So you might feel it being a little tender. It might not be tender right now, but it may be tender later on, you know. But there's something there. You can feel like a little zingy kind of, maybe not quite a lot of pain, but you'll feel something. And so, but we have, so lung 7, 6, and 5. Okay, so there's 3 points right within that 1 inch or 1.5 inch line. So you're pulsing basically that lung 7 with the same, you know, breathing in, lower, middle, upper, breathing out, upper, middle, lower. Repeat that a couple of times. And one more. And we'll do the other side. So find that same point on your other hand, lung 7. Just pressing, pulsing, inhale. And exhale. 3-part breath, inhale lower, middle, upper lungs. Exhale upper, middle, lower belly. And one more breath. Good. So shake that out. Okay. So the last point for this little immune boosting protocol is stomach 36. So stomach 36, if you were to come down, cover your knees, your middle finger is at the head of the tibia. Now just take your middle finger and slide lateral and down towards the shin muscle. So that, you know, you can see how that muscle just kind of flares out. And you're trying to press right in between the muscle and the bone. And it's kind of hard to get into. Once you get into it, if there's any depletion, you'll feel it right away. So stomach 36, the point is called 3 more miles. So it's a point that will help to recharge your system, your body, to do that little extra that it kind of boosts the system. But it's a short time boost, and it's something you don't want to rely on all the time, because then you can really, you know, weaken yourself. But it's for a temporary, just to get through whatever it is that you need to get through. Very effective for stomach bugs, just a whole well-being. And so you're just really getting the knuckle. You can work on maybe like your middle knuckle to get into that point. And this one I'm just stimulating by circling and pulsing. And again, so we're going to inhale, lower, middle diaphragm, upper lungs, then exhale out of the upper lungs, middle diaphragm, press up against the lungs, lower belly. Couple more breaths. Do one more. And then come on up, inhale and exhale. So those are the 4 points that you would use to just to stimulate that immune system. There, next time, I think on Thursday, we can do the Wim Hof method of breathing. If you're familiar with Wim Hof method, it's very similar to the short breathing, the Kalabata breath. I had to do it before I can remember the yoga Kalabata breath, but it's a little bit slower. So there's more of a, so it's done more like that rather than a fast pumping action like the Kalabata. But that method of breathing really does get that oxygen to move in and out of the lungs so that you're really getting a cleansing effect. But you probably noticed a little warming sensation. Just doing those exercises can get that body heat up. And you know, the more you boost that system, the more you're going to fight off these little infections. So tilt this up. On to our practice. There we go. So how'd that feel? Could you feel a difference in your just in how everything feel? Okay. So inhale, exhale, clear. In, out, in. Actually, this is a really good time to focus some attention on our healing sounds. So our healing sounds, well, they're sounds that we make anyway whenever we feel a certain emotion. So when we're anxious, maybe angry or off sorts, you know, you're annoyed with somebody, and that's for the heart. That's to release that anxiety or that meanness or that kind of angst out of the heart space. So when you do your pull downs, it's really easy to bring in that sound. So we inhale coming up. The hands come together and you go, ah. All the way down, you're pulling up and in. There you go. Inhale. Exhale. Ah. Get it all out. In. Focus on ha with that ha, just pushing out like a dark red, crimson red out of the lung, out of that heart space. In. Ha. Crimson clouds coming out, getting recycled into the earth. Ha. And last one. Good. Inhale, exhale, and step. All right, so that's for your cardiac system. Yes, same. You know, everything is clearing out the lungs. So I just started with the heart. Typically, you would start with the sh sound for liver, but we'll move forward. From fire is earth, so ho, H-O-O-O-O, clears out worry, obsessive thinking, overthinking. It helps to clear out any kind of, you know, marginal stomach distress, little butterflies, any, you know, burping, anything that's just distressing the upper GI system. So taking the hand to your right hand is going to your belly, left hand covers your right hand. You can make a fist, or if you're very sensitive, there's something going on, maybe an open fist. But your thumb is just below your sternum. If you were open fist, if you were closed fist, the fist is just in that little, just below the A6 notch. And you're gonna take your, your, whatever that, can't think of the name. Anyway, elbows into your waist. So you're hugging the waist as you express the sound, ho, H-O-O-O-O-O-O, ho, ho, ho. So inhale, breathe into that space. You're going into a little bit back bend. We're stretching through the stomach meridian. And exhale, ho. Inhale. Oh. So we're inhaling bright sun yellow, releasing a brownish dark yellow cloud. Oh. Filled of worry, overthinking, obsessive thoughts. Inhale. Oh. 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 And one more. Oh. Releasing the arms. And exhale. Okay, so from earth, we have metal. So metal is the lungs, large intestine. So clearing out the lungs with a hiss, H-I-S-S-S. And so when you're crying, when you're releasing grief out of the lungs, and we just kind of make that sound. This is, but we're going to do a one long hiss. So you're really kind of constricting the airway and really trying to push it out of that constriction so that you're squeezing all of that waste out of the lungs. So we're going to use this position with the hands, an L. See it against the black background, both hands. And these fingers are kind of curled in, but they're light. Okay, we're not pulling into the heart points, we're just relaxing that. But we are trying to stretch out this webbing here. This point here between the thumb and index finger is the Hegu point. So that's large intestine 4, which is one of the most common points used if you learned any therapeutic points, therapeutic acupressure points. That's probably the first one you've ever learned because it's the main point for pain throughout the body. Most commonly used for headaches, but really any pain in the body, you can use that point. And so when we're doing the clearing of the lungs, large intestine systems, and metal, we're opening up that point. So that's getting activated as we do this. So on the inhale, we're bringing in white bright light, and we pull back on those shoulders. We're trying to feel that stretch through the lung meridian. And then as we exhale, you're pushing out with a hiss. Trying to collapse as much as possible. Inhale. Emptying the gray cloud. And bringing in white, bright light. Pushing out that gray cloud. Good. Last one. being able to clear. And exhale, set. Okay. So as we move on, metal makes water. Water is the chew sound. We've been working with that in our seasonal protocol. All of this, by the way, before I forget, of course, is in your book, and the healing sounds and animal gestures are right smack dab in the middle of the book. Can't see the page, but right there in the middle has all the instructions in there so that you can practice later. So we're going to do just a simple one at the back. So kidney, bladder, and think about on the inhale, you're bringing it up from the bottoms of the feet, right? Kidney 1 point, taking the hands to the kidney area, and you're stretching that on the inhale. Then the exhale with the chew, you're keeping a nice flat back. So it's going into that flat back fold as you release. Then soften the knees a little bit if you need to. If you can, you're going to keep the knees straight and come up as a unit if your back is strong enough. If not, bend your knees and to roll up so you soften that back area. Inhale. Kind of like steam releasing out of a pipe. So releasing excess fear. Also, settling turbidity, obsessive thinking, or turbid thinking, I should say. So meaning that your thoughts are all over the place. This kind of helps to settle and get tranquil. You change the positions of your hands. You might make a fist, just kind of let the wrist relax. Last one. Releasing your hands on the next inhale. Out a clearing breath, exhale. Okay. So now we're at wood. So water creates wood. Wood governs the liver and gallbladder. And so anger, envy, those kinds of feelings. Scattered, things like that. The sound is sh, S-H-I-I-I-I-I. So it's like, you know, we already say it when you get mad, it's, you know, something happens and it's like a gut reaction of anger. It's like, shh, you know, you kind of say it. And usually we put the T at the end. And so for this one, we're going to use the deer. So you'll see this under the 5 animal Qigong. So the 5 animal Qigong brings in the expression of the restorative animal representations with the sounds. So I didn't get too much into them with the rest. The reason I'm just bringing that in is because you're making these little deer antlers. We can do it where we're stretching the liver, but just to kind of keep things even, there's a leaping and a releasing, okay? So it's inhale as you come high up off the heels and exhale with the shh. Inhale. And it's just like what it sounds. You're kind of this is an easy shh. Kind of a quiet one. Suddenly those fits of anger. Last one. And set. So those are the 5. We have one more healing sound for the 6 Qi. The 6 Qi represents the pericardium and triple warmer. There's no animal associated with it. The rest of them do have animals associated with it. So so our wood season is representative to the deer. And it kind of makes sense, you know, the deer become active during that time, and you can kind of hear them swishing through the forest, you know, and they're nice and delicate and stretchy and long limbed, and you know, so the wood governs the connective tissue, the sinews, the ligaments and tendons. And then that goes into the fire, which is the hawk. We use the hawk to represent our restorative protocol. Each lineage and within each lineage, depending on the set that you're working with, will have different animals associated with it. So in our practice, this is what we're working with. So the hawk for fire, the monkey for earth, the white tiger for metal or for the fall, the bear for the water. Okay, so then we're back to the 6 chi, and the 6 chi is just like it's actually more associated with the water moving through the pipe, the hot pipe, that's steamed. All right, so let's take the hands. The hands are just kind of extended out, and your legs are going to go into ba. So, hey, you know, when we do our 8 vessels, that is the 6 element, 6 chi practice. And so here we're in that ba position. So when the hands come up, we're inhaling a bright purple, and we exhale, releasing like a dark purple with a he, H-E-E-E-E-E, as the arms come down. There's no emotion associated with this either. Inhale, it's kind of a regulating thing. So we'll just do 3. And then we'll shift out of that and clear and set. All right, so that whole, just that little piece takes about 15 minutes or so to do, or less if you just do three repetitions or 9 repetitions, depending on how much time you have. You do it throughout your day. Really kind of build up that immunity. I have found that, you know, before if I've been exposed to something, take something like that airborne or emergency, extra vitamin C kind of helps your immune system to fight it off before it gets into your body. Also D3, of course, we all know that that's a big immune booster as well. In the morning, take it in the morning. And then, you know, if you do start to feel symptoms, I double up on that C, try to drink a lot of liquids, you know, start to do this practice, try to purge it out of your system. And, you know, I think you'll be fine. So anyway, where were we going? Let's clear. Inhale. So you know what? Let's stay with the healing sounds. So there is a practice that I haven't shared with Mitchell, but Christine knows it. Everybody else knows it who's going to be watching this later on. Our favorite little healing sound practice called the Old Man Searches for the Pearl at the Bottom of a Tide Pool. Basically, it helps to let go of those obsessive thing that happens when you look at the news, when you open a newspaper, when you start talking politics. It's like anger or shock, anger, worry. So not necessarily in that order, but here's the story. You got the little old fisherman coming home from a long day with empty nests. He looks out at the bay and he sees what he thinks the largest pearl he's ever seen. So he goes out, he's so excited. and he's searching for that pearl. Looks, and he's searching his wood. And he realizes, oh, it's the reflection of the moon. He's in shock. Then he goes into worry. How's he going to feed his family? So halfway through that breath is a, oh. So the hands come to the belly and we churn out the worry. We do that little part 3 times. So we go back up, inhale. So when we do the exhale of ha, we're going to use this mudra. So your middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger are pressing on the heart fire points of your palm, right below that knuckle or the base of your fingers. So that's pressing this, and this is extended. Okay, so you're pressing on the fire points with the first index and thumb extended. So it begins with the bring the hands into your belly, hold, and finish with the hold. Churning, 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 churning. Get it up. Inhale. In. Inhale, release your hands and go back to the swishing, searching for the pearl. Squat down. So as you're swinging your arms and you're expressing that sh sound, you're letting the hands kind of tap along the side of your ribs, litter 14. So you're empty with all the breath, and then we inhale, rise up. 2. Three. Inhale, release the hands. One more searching. Inhale. Inhale, clear. Next. In. Out. In. And out. All right, so we just have another few minutes here. Why don't we have a seat and we'll do a couple rounds of that Wim Hof breathing method. I don't know if we've gone through it a couple of times. If it's not, so Wim Hof, that's actually not the original name, but Wim, he's a Swedish guy. But he's one of these extreme athletes, and he went into extreme athlete because he was riddled with asthma as a child. And so his goal was to create the strongest breath he could and to really challenge himself in these extreme circumstances. So he did a diving challenge, you know, how long can he stay underwater without taking a breath? He did a lot of crazy things. There's a book that we were talking about last year called Breath or Breathe? Breath, I forget which one, but it goes into all these methods in detail about how to strengthen your breath. So we'll go through 3 rounds of this. So we're going to begin just with the 3-part breath first, okay? So you can have your hands on your thighs, you can have your hands just one on top of one another. If we really to get fancy, we would use this special mudra, but we're just going to do it simple for now. So whichever feels better to you, hands at your thighs or on your lap. So let's exhale everything out. You want to feel your sits bones underneath you. If you're, as we're all seated in a chair, let's just scooch forward so that the back third of your thighs are being supported by the chair. The front 2/3 of your thighs are hanging over the floor, and your feet are right under the center of your knees. Your heels are under the center of your knees. So you're feeling very supported. The tailbone, imagine if the tailbone extended out into an actual tail, it would be like a tripod with your feet, and it would be behind you supporting that, the base. So in this next exhale, let everything go. You're going to pick up the perineum, drawing the navel back. So the perineum stays like a little bit lifted. So on your next inhale, we're going to breathe into the lower part, 3-part breath. Pause, then bring a third into the middle. Pause, third into the upper. Pause, then exhale out of the upper. Pause, middle. Pause, lower. Pause. 2 more on your own. Last one. Now we're going to breathe in for 2 counts, out for 2 counts. In for 2, out for 2. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Out. Now we're going to speed this up. You're going to focus on your out breath by drawing and really engaging the navel and the lower abdomen. So it's going to be like a pull in and then release. Pull in and release. So the pull in is the strong part of it. The release is the just happens. You'll breathe in just as a result of needing the breath. Okay, so we just practice that and do 15 counts. So exhale everything out, pull in your belly, in, out. 2 more. Last one. Hold, no breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now long inhale. Pause at the top of the inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exhale. That's one set. In, out, pull in. Two more. Exhale, hold. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exhale. Good, strong inhale. Exhale, pull it in. Last one. Hold. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale. Hold. Flex your shoulders, neck, face. Then exhale all the way out. Come into regular breathing. Okay, so it's just a quick introduction. We can go over it some more. There was a video last year that one of my teachers had been teaching it, and if you're interested, you can see if I can find it. But anyway, that is what you would do with that breath is you would increase the time of your hold from 15 seconds to 30 seconds to 45 seconds to a minute. And then you could also increase that belly, the breathing to 15, from 15 rounds to 30 rounds. So I think a good practice to build up to would be 30 of the breaths, the quick breaths, and a 1 minute hold, or you work up to that, and you would do that 3 times, then work up to 6 times, up to maybe 9 times in a practice. But that's getting, taking, a few, maybe a month at least, a few weeks to get to that point where you kind of develop that unless you've been familiar with it and you kind of know and your body's used to doing, has done it before, then, you know, maybe you build it up a little quicker. Any questions? It's energizing, right? It's, you get a lot of heat moving. So, you know, in the wintertime, we're all about, you know, bringing heat into the body, and in the summertime, we're more about letting heat get out, escape the body, right? But we still have this element of fire and water. And so when we get into that, the solstice time period, the summer solstice and the winter solstice, we embrace both fire and water. And because it just makes sense too, right? All right, that's it for today. And we'll see you next time.